guess what? Came back. Did I cry? Yes. Did I want to quit? Yes. But when I go in the house, mom and them, grandma and them said, get back out the house. So I had to go back out and fight. That's how it was. That's how it was, folks. Oh, we live on our, look at that. We live on TD Report. I'm over here.
Hey, guys, how's it going?
Hey, let's get it.
Let's get
All
it.
right. So
we got
lots going on in the sports world today on the TD Report. First thing we want to talk about, before we get to the playoffs, Jody, before we get to the playoffs, we do have to talk about what happened with the Washington Commanders this morning. This morning, the Washington Commanders owner Josh Harris of the Josh Harris Group made a command decision. You notice I use the word command. He relieved Ron Rivera of his duties. Ron Rivera was hired in 2020. His record here in D.C. was 26-40. Guys, that ain't gonna feed the bulldog here, okay? They made the playoffs that first year. I said when it happened, I said that was going to change the trajectory of what the expectations were. When he took the job, he was not expected to take them to that playoff that first year, right? And then every year after that, it just seemed like they got progressively worse. So now we start the process here in Washington of looking for yet another coach. There will be some organizational changes, obviously. It looks like Washington is going to look at hiring a general manager who will then hire the coach, and then they will look to deal with draft. They have the number 2 pick, and then free agency. Tony, what do you think about that with the Washington Commanders? Then we're going to go to Jody.
I think it was, first of all, see, I don't like being that asshole, excuse my language, but 4 years ago, when I said it was a bad hire, and I said it will end badly, and everybody told me I was a hater, these eyes, ever since October of 1975, have been watching this game when I thought the people on the field were little kids. And the adults had to tell me those were grown men like my Uncle Dallas. That's how long I've been watching the damn game. So when I tell you something in this game from these eyes, I may not be great at numbers, but I watch the game. The dude only had 3 winning seasons, and they all came with Cam Newton. I said this in 2020.
Cam Newton and Luke Kuechly.
Before the pandemic.
Yep, so, Cam Newton and Luke Kuechly. Yeah, they made him.
I said it then. So what I am not going to do is try to play revisionist history. Y'all were 3-13 then, and you're 4-13 now. The facilities are the worst. It was the worst then. Everything was the worst. Then I told y'all they was going to force not. Now, I say that because we live in this area. We want a good football team. We want a Super Bowl. We want some of that good stuff.
Hey, Tony, we've got our guest coming on.
Oh, that's my man, Jason. Jason,
let's go.
Hey, Jason.
Let's go, Michigan, baby. Let's go.
Hey, Jason. Hey, welcome to the TD Report. Thanks for coming in.
Let's go. Michigan, everybody. Ohio State, Ryan Days last year will be next year. He's going to lose 2 more games to Michigan.
I'll put it like this.
Hey, Jason.
I'm
Jason.
an Ohio State fan, but Big Ten is represented, so I got to stand behind you guys and represent y'all, man, for sure.
Big Ten. Hey, Jay, talk to us, man.
All right, guys, go Blues.
Hey, Jason, let me ask you something real quick. How long you been a Michigan fan, buddy? Did we lose him?
No, it's going in and out. He said it.
Hold on.
They got a leak in the roof.
Y'all
know they got a leak in the roof there.
Oh, okay.
We were coming live. See, last year
we tried to get you guys somebody from the Michigan game. Yeah, we tried to get you somebody from the national championship game. Looks like they have a nice tweet, though.
Watch it. Hey, Jody. So guys, we giving flowers out tonight. Jody sat here and tried to tell us about the guy who's about to play Dallas. He said Jordan Love. He said Green Bay was going to be just fine. And everybody went there, blah, blah, blah. Joe, you don't know what he's talking about. But obviously he knew what he was talking about. It was only 2 people. Mark Murphy, GM for Green Bay, and Jody Coleman. That's what Jody said. Now, Jody said that. Now, we're going to go up 6 weeks. Tony Kennedy said the Eagles were 10-1. And I sat on this show and I told you guys, I said the Eagles Super Bowl was last year. I said they 10-1. I said they're not the same team. They're not to be feared. There's something wrong. And I couldn't put my finger on it. How did I know? Because I watch every game. When I hate a team, I watch them. I will tell you right now, the greatest team I've ever seen was the 83 Redskins. Oh, I'm a Cowboy fan. Why did I say that? Because I can be honest about that, okay? That Eagles team was the best team last year. The Eagles team this year, they were good. They were getting through games, but it was something missing. So now all of a sudden, they losing. Now everybody running for the hill. No, it was the same Eagles team. That was the same team. It's the same team that's going to go into Tampa Bay without no wide receivers, and they're going to make Baker Mayfield look good because Baker's going to come out with a win because Tampa's tough to beat down there this time of year, okay? So now we're going to jump on Baker Mayfield and be like, oh, he's the greatest thing since sliced bread and get another contract. Please. Eagles just folded.
Get in there, Jody.
Look, Tony, you are absolutely correct about the regular season Eagles. I will give you credit for that. You did make a statement. Dave, you was a witness. They were 10-1, and he said there was an issue. But this is where I come in at. I come in at this. We have not played a playoff game yet. So until they lose in the playoffs, that's when I'll be like, Tony, I'm going to give you a big bouquet of flowers. They're going to be signed, sealed, delivered to you. But until they see, this is what really counts. Regular season is cute, Dave. Regular season is cute, but this is where you really become legendary. This is where you really get your contracts. I don't think Baker Mayfield can beat the Eagles. Not saying he can't. I just don't think he can. Now, we have set the bar so low for #1 picks. We think that he has this great season, and Baker is having a good season. He's in my top 10 quarterbacks of this season. But 4,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions is a very pedestrian year. If Mahomes would have had a year like that, y'all would be ready to wonder what's wrong with him. But Baker did it, and y'all ready to give him $100 million.
Hey, Dave, does that sound like Baker been talking trash about Cleveland? He been shooting strays, though.
I said that's from Baker. I keep forgetting that Baker is a former Brown at this point, but. Listen, when we look at these playoff matchups, and why don't we just go ahead and run those down? Because I don't want to run too far in because I know we've got to get to this national championship game stuff before we get off. So let's start in the NFC. Let's start with that 4-5 matchup. You just mentioned it. Tony, we've got, Tampa Bay in the 4 spot. They won the division, the NFC South, which was terrible this year, but hey, you win the division, you get a home playoff game. Who's the 5 seed, Tony? Eagles. That's not a matchup that the Eagles want. They're going to go on the road, and they're going to fool around. They're going to fool around and be in a fight. I'll just go ahead and say that they're going to fool around and be in a fight. Let's talk about AJ Brown. Jody, is AJ Brown out for the playoffs? Is he going to miss this game? For this wild card game, what's going to happen here?
I would think that if he missed this game, which I don't think he will, I think he's day to day. I think AJ Brown gonna go out there like a Terrell Owens. He's a warrior. He has a lot to prove because, to be honest with you, Dave and Tony, AJ Brown is the reason why they're slumping. Let me go ahead and tell you why. He's one of those guys. Remember back in the day when Tony Romo and T.O. was a tandem quarterback, wide receiver tandem. If you look at the majority of interceptions that Tony Romo threw, he was trying to feed it and force it to Terrell Owens. If you look at Jalen Hurts' struggle this season, majority of his passes or interceptions were going to A.J. Brown because A.J. Brown is one of them receivers because they're cool. A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts are good friends. So sometimes you like, man, he's probably saying stuff that we not hearing like, man, I'm hoping just give me an opportunity to make a play. And Jalen Hurts is giving him the opportunity, but it's the other team that's making the play. So a lot of times, let's go back and look at a lot of his interceptions, and let's not to mention AJ Brown got a ton of fumbles where somebody came from behind and smacked it out of his hand, just like yesterday, just like when they played the Cowboys. So AJ Brown is a huge reason why they're on the slump. So AJ Brown has a lot of stuff to prove. And on the defense side is Bradbury.
So who you pick? Who you pick, Jody? Who you pick?
I got Philly. I got Philly because Jalen Hurts is still a championship caliber quarterback. He can make it happen with his legs. And like I said, Baker is playing with house money. So 9-8. Come on, man. Y'all want to give this man $100 million? He went 9-8.
Well, he's going to get the Daniel Jones deal, about $80 million. He ain't going to get $100. He won't get $100 million. Tony, who do you have in that one?
I got Tampa Bay, just because
honestly,
Philly's a better team, but it's not who's better, it's who's playing better at the time.
I'm going to take Tampa Bay in this one. Let's move on to the 3-6.
Hold on, Dave. Who playing better? Didn't Tampa Bay just lose a game before this one? Didn't they just lose?
No, they just won the division.
They went to 8-8. They just lost, and then they won to go 9-8. But they lost the game.
They haven't lost 5 or 6. They've actually won 4 or 6.
Okay, but they still got to look. Hey, I digress. But they're not playing great. But go ahead.
Okay.
They're not playing great.
Well, they might not be playing great, but they're playing better than the Eagles.
They playing better than the Eagles.
We playing better than the Eagles, but
hey, let's talk about that 3-6 matchup because this is important in the NFC. The 3-6 matchup is going to be the Detroit Lions are going to be hosting,
not the kitty cats.
They're going to be hosting the LA Rams. LA Rams are going to come to town with former Detroit quarterback and #1 overall pick, Matthew Stafford. So this is going to be Stafford's return to Ford Field. Very emotional game for him. And then also you're going to have Jared Goff, who is a cast off from the Rams, who's been to a Super Bowl. Didn't win it, but he's been to a Super Bowl. So this game, in my opinion, is going to be highly emotional, highly leveraged game. The Detroit Lions have all the pressure on them, in my opinion. And I think if they come out tight, they could have a problem. I'm not saying they're going to lose, but it could be a little tighter than most people think. Whatever the spread is, I'm going to take Detroit to win this game, but I might play the number. Tony, what you got on the 3-6?
I got the Lions.
That I shouldn't have even asked because you've been Restore the Roar. You've been saying that since before the season. Okay, so you're taking the Lions all the way. Jody, what do you got in this game?
Meow. Listen, I am going with the Rams. Let me tell you why I'm going with the Rams, Dave. Matthew Stafford is better than Jared Goff. Kyron Williams is better than any running back they got on Detroit's team. And Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp is the best combo in the league. Yeah, it's Tyreek Hill and Waddle. But guess what? Right now, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, and the biggest thrower on the field, name is Aaron Donald. Y'all forgot he plays for the Rams.
Lamb and Cooks.
Who?
Lamb and Cooks.
I don't know, man. I like Lamb. I like Lamb. It's a big drop off from Lamb to Cook. It's a huge drop off.
No, it ain't, because Cooks got more down-yard season, don't he?
I said right now. We ain't talking about what he did in '86. We're talking about right now. And right now, Puka Nacua just broke every rookie record in the book.
And Lamb just broke every other record.
And then he didn't break Cooper Kupp's records.
You sure?
Triple crown.
I don't think so, Tony.
He had
1,700 yards.
Triple crown.
He had 1,700 yards.
Triple crown.
Oh, he missed the triple crown by 1 touchdown. I mean, by 40 yards. 40 yards.
You know that Cooper Kupp almost had 2,000 yards receiving, right?
Yeah.
He almost did.
So,
and honestly, if Justin Jefferson had played all 17 games, he would have had over 2,000 as well.
And if they would have got the ball to Lamb the first 6 games, his numbers would be unbelievable.
So now, the best wide receiving combo is Cooper and Nacua. And right now, that's going to be the difference. That's going to be the
So let's talk about the 2-7 matchup. Green Bay Packers are going to be the 7th seed in the playoffs this year. Their former coach, Mike McCarthy, is in Dallas, and that's where Detroit's going. That's where, Green Bay is going to be. Packers go to Dallas in a 7-2 game. Honestly, Jordan Love has played pretty good this year, but I just think the Cowboys at home too much. 16 straight wins at home. I think that's going to go to 17. Give me Cowboys at Jerry World over the Green Bay Packers. And by the way, over the years, Dallas and Green Bay has been a pretty good playoff matchup. And there's been many editions of this matchup. I think this one is going to belong to the Cowboys. Jody, what do you think about that? Don't worry, Tony, we're coming to you last. We can't hear you, Jody. Are you muted? Try it again. Okay, we're gonna go to Tony on this one, Jody. We'll bring you back in. Go ahead, Tony.
Jody, whatever you said, it doesn't matter. I'm picking Dallas. And I'm picking Dallas because they cheated us the last 2 times in the playoffs. They ain't going to cheat us the 3rd time because we got the referees dressed up for us. You saw against Detroit. They're going to be dressed up for us, dog. So we got the 13th man on the field, or the 12th and 13th, 14th man on the field. We're going to be just fine. We ain't losing this game. Sunday, 4 o'clock.
So 49ers will get the lowest seed that wins in the wild card round, and then we will reseed and go from there. Is that right? That's how it works.
Yeah, and so the Cowboys or the Lions cannot play the 49ers, but everybody else can. Based upon how it goes.
Whoever wins the 4-5 game, whoever wins the 3-6 game, if it's the lower seed, that lower seed is going to end up going to San Francisco. So San Francisco would await whoever wins that lowest seed. Now, let's talk about the AFC. You got your Ravens locked into that first seed. Let's talk about the 2-7 game. Who do you got in the 2-7? Who's playing?
2-7 is Pittsburgh Buffalo.
Buffalo got up to the 2nd seed.
Yep, that was it. Remember, they was either going to be when the day started, either out or 2nd seed. So Buffalo's at home in the 2nd seed. So Buffalo is at home against Pittsburgh. But here's the thing: if your boy keeps turning that ball over to Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh will find a way on the road to win that game. He cannot turn the ball over.
Is TJ Watt going to be able to play? I don't think they're going to have him for that game.
Hey, Jody, call him. Is TJ Watt going to be able to play? No, he's out. He's out. So that changes a whole lot.
Well, that's a problem for Pittsburgh. That's a problem.
It is a problem. And I think Buffalo should win the game, but don't be surprised. Like Lee Corso say, by that much. Because Pittsburgh is playing playoff ball.
Let me take Pittsburgh on this one. I think Josh Allen is going to throw. Give me Josh Allen throwing 3 picks. He's going to throw 3 picks on this one. Hey, Jody, glad to have you back.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you now. Go for it.
Real quick, can I go back to the Dallas game?
Yep.
Yeah, go back to the Dallas game. Go ahead.
I got Green Bay. I got Jordan Love. I got Green Bay, Jordan Love, 2nd in the NFL in touchdown passes, right behind Dak Prescott. I like Jordan Love. I like them to go up there, upset Dallas. Okay, back to what this
is going to be an interesting matchup for Dan Campbell to work on. He's going to get a shot at a young quarterback making his first playoff start on the road. So should be some interesting storylines there. I like your take on that, Jody. So we've moved on to the AFC. We've talked about the 2-7 game. So Buffalo against who is that? Buffalo against Pittsburgh. Who do you think, Jody?
Pittsburgh. I mean, not Pittsburgh. I'm sorry, Buffalo. Buffalo wins that game.
What? I took Pittsburgh. Come on, man. You got to take Buffalo. No, you can't take Buffalo. Too many. Huh?
Buffalo is just a better team. Pittsburgh snuck into the playoffs. Mason Rudolph is going. It's not Christmas time anymore. So guess what? Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, can go on sit down somewhere. We got George Pickens is too inconsistent. Deontay Johnson too inconsistent. I like that they're leaning on the running game, but I think Buffalo is a really good team against the run. Josh Allen's not going to make those mistakes because TJ Watt won't be on the other side of the ball. I like Buffalo on that one.
All right. Let's go to the 3-6 matchup. Tony, who we got in the 3-6?
3-6 is
Kansas
that's
City
KC.
and Miami.
Miami,
Kansas
KC
City, Miami at Kansas City, right?
at
Yeah.
KC.
It's gonna be cold.
Okay.
It's gonna be 9 degrees.
9
So,
degrees.
They can't catch anyway.
Tony,
So
Tony
whoever
muted.
can catch the ball is
Oh,
going to win the
God.
game.
See if Tony muted.
I forgot about that. Okay, Tony, who do you like? Kansas City?
No, I like Miami because I think Miami
Wow.
can catch the ball.
I can't hear him.
Honestly, Miami hasn't played well the last 3 weeks, Tony. They didn't play well against Dallas. Definitely didn't play well
Miami,
against the Ravens.
actually, Miami is the Dallas of the AFC. They hot and cold. So if Miami shows up and they play their game, Miami is probably the most dangerous because of that speed on offense. Miami's hot and cold. Now, it's something about them too. It's something about the 2 Super Bowl teams from last year. I'm not saying that they're not talented. It's just that it don't seem like they're playing, like they're missing assistants. Like Irv Bieniemy is in Washington.
Well,
Philly's
we're also
assistant
gonna have-
is in Indianapolis.
Well, you're
the
also
other
going to have
assistant is
Tyreek
in
Hill.
Arizona. Huh?
You're also going to have Tyreek Hill coming back to Kansas City
Yeah,
for a
and
playoff game.
all these
What do you
scenarios. Yeah, I don't know. I got
Yep.
Kansas. I mean, Miami.
You got Miami? Who you got, Jody?
And I got Kansas City without a doubt. We talking about Patrick Mahomes. We talking about a guy that has 11 playoff wins to only 3 losses. He's not been on the road as of yet. He may after this win because he's going to beat the Miami Dolphins, who don't want to play in 9-degree weather. Regardless, Chris Jones is going to have a field day. On the other side of the ball, they don't have Xavier Howard. They don't have him out there, and they don't have Bradley Chubb. They won't get enough pressure on Patrick Mahomes. They figured it out in the playoffs. They roll. I don't even think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be like a 24-10 game. I like Kansas City.
Let me take Kansas City in this one specifically because Bradley Chubb should not have been on the field against the Ravens down, 30 points? They should have taken him out of that game. Him getting hurt there is, what was it, an ACL? Not good. That was probably the most costly loss that they had, even taking the L on the record. But leaving Baltimore without Bradley Chubb healthy was a problem.
Yeah.
You know what, guys? Miami can be bullied. That's what I've seen. Miami, I hate to call a team or any NFL player or any professional athlete soft, but Miami is the epitome of being soft. They're extremely soft. And only I like Christian Watkins up the middle, and I like Jalen Ramsey, but they are soft. They are too finesse. Kansas City can play both games, and Kansas City's defense, who has not given up many points this year, nobody's talking about. Calafias and Shadarius Ward on the outside. Not Ward, I'm sorry. Snead on the outside. They're going to have an opportunity to really clamp up those guys, and the ball is going to be too cold for Tua trying to throw them deep passes to Tyreek Hill. And we don't even know if Waddle's going to be healthy or Moisture. So I like Kansas City. It's going to be too cold for the Miami boys.
All right. Let's talk about the 4-5 matchup in the AFC. Tony, who's lined up for the 4-5? I think it's the Browns, right?
Well,
Browns,
seeing that I picked the Browns to be in the AFC title game way
I
back.
can't hear Tony.
Yep. Seeing that I picked it. Can you hear me? Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Seeing that I picked the Browns as one of those teams way back when they were healthy, it's hard, but they already dominated the Texans. I think that their defense is going to confuse a rookie who's one of the best rookies I've ever seen. So it doesn't take – I'm not knocking him. I think the Browns go on the road and gut out a win because they do have a quarterback, one of the few quarterbacks in this tournament who's actually won the Super Bowl. And that actually – now that starts to help because people are going to look to him and ask him, how do we prepare? How do we do this? How do we do that? I mean, you got to admit, Flacco was on the team that dominated, was on the team that was getting dominated, came back. He was on he hadn't played on it all. He's seen it all. And this is his time of year. And that Browns team is kind of constructed like the Ravens team. Pretty good defense, and offense. Just don't mess it up and be who you are. But Flacco got to stop the turnovers. He has to cut that down in the playoffs, because in the playoffs it's magnified.
What do you think, Jody? These are your boys.
Who did Tony pick? Because I can't hear him. Who did he pick?
He took the Browns.
Okay. Now, only way the Browns lose this game is Kevin Stefanski try to outsmart somebody. Don't outthink anything. Go ahead with the running game. Get Kareem Hunt acclimated in the game early forward. Do some hard play action. Get Njoku. Get Cooper involved. Flacco, don't give the ball away. You're supposed to throw it to the guys with the brown jerseys on. Stop throwing the ball. Like, we talk about Joe Flacco having this great season, Dave. Tony, we talk about Joe Flacco, but he has 8 interceptions in 5 games? He has 8 interceptions in 5 games. That's almost 2 interceptions per, and that's too many turnovers. So I like Cleveland in this game, but it won't be like the first game. We won't blow them out. Even though we played on the road, we won't blow them out because CJ Stroud will be in command in that offense.
DeMeco Ryan is pretty good at game planning in the playoffs. You remember, so I had to explain this to you guys. So the reason why the playoffs is so much different than the regular season is not only the intensity, but during the regular season, most teams prepare for 2 teams at a time unless they're going into a bye. So they'll put some plays. So it'll go 80-20, 90-10. So you kind of preparing for the next week, even though you got a team this week. In the playoffs, it's totally different. This is it. 150% goes into one team. So there's no other practice stuff. There's no other stuff. It goes into one team and everything. So they will take the coaches, wherever they coached at, they will get film from them and watch their tendencies all the way down to everything. They know when you want to get up and take a piss. That's how it gets in the playoffs. That's why it's so intense, because we don't have to worry about preparing for the team right before the bye. We won't have no bye because you're going to be by home. So understand, folks, that is what happens in the playoffs. So when you see 2 teams who played before in the regular season, wipe that out, because that doesn't matter, because we don't know what was on that other team. It could have been a trap game. So look at that and then go from there. Styles make fights.
Okay. So you both have taken the Browns. I'm gonna go ahead and finish out the set. You've got to take the Browns in this one. Just too much experience, too much defense. And listen, the Houston Texans have been one of the best stories in all of football all year long. If I would say this, if anything, Houston had an injury, to CJ Stroud. He was out a couple of games, and, that impacted their seeding. I thought they were going to make the playoffs anyway, but they end up winning the division. That's great, but this is where their season ends. Their season's going to end in this 4-5 matchup. I just don't think that the Browns defense is just going to give CJ Stroud much room to work. Okay. No. So with that said, that's our recap on the NFL playoffs for the first round, just talking about the wild cards. Let's move on to college football and the college football playoff. Queuing up right now. They're in warm-ups.
No, they're not. It's 7-0.
It's already 7-0?
Yeah, Edwards broke a 50-yard touchdown.
The game already on?
Yeah,
game's already on.
Donovan Edwards broke a 50-yard touchdown. 7-0.
Do we want to break here and let our audience get to the game?
7-0.
Michigan.
No, the game started early.
It started early. Okay.
It started early. That's what I was trying to tell y'all. Game was going to start a little early, but that's fine. I mean,
that's cool.
Can we just give our picks and then we be done?
Well, yeah. I'm rooting for Washington. I'm rooting for Washington,
and I'm a homer because they got so many guys from Maryland on that team.
So you got to root for Michigan. Who do you like, Jody? You gonna take Michigan? You're a Big Ten guy.
The thing is this, real quick. I really want to see Washington beat them. I just don't think they can. So Michigan is going to win this going away. It's not even going to be close. Michael Penix can either raise his draft stock or drop his draft stock in this one game. If Penix can go out here and somehow beat Michigan, he's going to be a top 5 draft pick.
Should be interesting. Hey guys, join us on Thursday. We're going to break down a lot of the NFL scuttlebutt, and we're going to talk about the NFL hiring. Talk about NFL coaching hires.
Hey,
I'll be back.
Did y'all get that email? They put the TD report on the list to go interview with the Redskins. So we can get the Commander's job.
I don't want that job. I'm good. You terrible, Tony. Thanks for joining us on the TD Report, everybody. Enjoy the college football tonight.
Michigan, go blue.
Go UW.
All right, man.